How about something happy? Y'all ready for some justice? Oh, this is some shit that will make me cry, baby. Top 7 reactions of innocent convicts set free?
This is John Bunton. He spent 27 years wrongfully convicted of murder.
No, I'm gonna cry.
I'm an innocent man.
I'm gonna cry.
And I have always been an innocent man.
Bunton was only 14 years old when he was arrested by NYPD detective Louis Scarcella. Bunton later spent 16 years behind bars and then 11 years out on parole. His conviction was overturned based on the wrongdoing of Detective Scarcella and the fact that there wasn't even probable cause to arrest Bunton in the first place.
And why would they do this? A shitty detective, when they start getting pressure from the city, especially in a small town, like after a really bad crime, the public's like, you have to put somebody away, you have to put somebody away. And they're like, let's just put somebody away so everyone will shut up. This is how this shit happens, bro.
And after 27 years of fighting to clear his name, he is finally exonerated.
Yeah! Thank you,
Oh my God! How did he get out?
In 27 years, I've been fighting for my life.
27
But before he
years
leaves
in
the
jail?
courtroom, he has a moment with the judge. Bunton later filed a lawsuit against the city of New York and Detective Scarcella.
Happy tears. We cry happy, okay? He filed this lawsuit in 2019 against New York and the detective, denial of due process, civil rights conspiracy. He was paroled in 2006 for good behavior because he wasn't a criminal, but he continued to fight to clear his conviction. And now he's actually suing them. It hasn't closed out yet, so we don't know if he won or how much money he won, but we love justice. All right, next, David, hit us.
He spent 22 years behind bars for a murder he did not commit. In Brooklyn, New York, Ranta was arrested by Detective Louis Scarcella. Yes, this is another wrongful conviction that's connected to Scarcella.
The same
Ranta
guy?
was put in a police lineup run by Scarcella and was identified as the shooter. But decades later, reportedly, the key witness revealed that the detective had provided him with a description of whom to pick in the lineup.
Oh my God. That's all this dude is. He's a lazy detective. Is he getting like charged? So here's another thing. Teresa Gomez, a witness hired by Scarcella in 6 murder cases. Teresa Gomez served as Scarcella's key witness in several unrelated murder cases during the 1980s and the 1990s. What are the chances that a detective knows a woman that saw 6 different murders?
But after spending over 2 decades in prison, the former witnesses admitted that they were pressured into testifying against Ranta. And now, this is the moment his conviction gets thrown out.
Mr. Brenda, to say that I'm sorry for what you have endured would be an understatement and grossly inadequate, but I say it to you anyway. The defendant's motion to vacate the judgment of conviction is granted.
I am crying. I don't care.
After his release, he reportedly received $2 million from the state and a $6.4 million settlement from the city of New York.
Right now. Justice served. I love justice so much.
Is Susan Mellon. She was sentenced to life in prison without parole based on an untruthful testimony. She was 42 years old when she was arrested in Los Angeles, California at a McDonald's while taking her daughter to get a Happy Meal. But that was the last time she would see her child for 7 years as she was charged for the murder of an ex-boyfriend. Mellon's conviction was based solely on an informant who claimed that Mellon had confessed the killing to her.
When was this, in 97?
She was in prison for a total of 17 years until the informant was proven to be a pathological liar and an unreliable witness.
The judgment is vacated, the conviction is overturned, and as to Ms. Mellon, the case is dismissed.
From tears in one moment to jumping in joy the next. When released, Mellon took her daughter to McDonald's to deliver that long-awaited...
I'm actively crying. I cannot help. Can't help it. But I feel like for videos and stuff like this, I need to be happy. I mean, I am happy, but like at the same time, like, I don't know. I feel like, you know, if I'm doing like a YouTube video, I need to be like, yeah, let's go. But I can't help it. I'm a little teary bitch. And I can't believe that she got convicted just because somebody lied on her, bro. And she didn't get to see her daughter. Oh my God, that's her and her daughter. Yes! Girl, yes!
This is Luis Vargas. He was sentenced to 55 years to life for crimes he did not commit. Vargas was 29, living in Los Angeles, California, when he was charged with 3 sexual assaults. Based on the similar descriptions of these crimes, police concluded that it was the same person that committed all 3 attacks, and he spent a total of 16 years in prison until the California Innocence Project tested DNA on the remaining physical evidence and clothing from one of the victims. And it was not a match, proving that Vargas did not commit these crimes.
He is in fact innocent.
Dude, here's the other thing too that's like so messed up. I've told you guys this before. What horrible things happen in prison to people that are convicted of a sex crime. Whether it's just children, anything like that. Like, your prison life is horrible. I can only imagine not only being convicted of something that you didn't do and then having, for lack of a better term, a horrible time in jail and just being on this earth wondering, why did this happen to me? How could this happen? It's so heavy to me. It's so heavy.
Proving that Vargas did not commit these crimes.
He is in fact innocent because the evidence will show that it undermines the prosecution's case.
Vargas sat silently when he was exonerated from all crimes. Vargas only had one simple wish from his mother for when he would become a free man.
Please buy me a big hamburger and we eat it together.
Reportedly, after Vargas was exonerated, he received $886,000
It's
in
a start,
state
but we need a little
compensation.
more.
This is Daniel Villegas. He spent 18 years in prison for a double homicide he never committed. In El Paso,
18 years for a double homicide.
Villegas was arrested at 16, where an El Paso
16?
detective reportedly threatened him with beatings and the death penalty if he did not confess. And the teenage Villegas signed a confession that was prepared by the detectives. He tried to withdraw his confession a few hours after, but by then it was too late. He was charged with 2 counts of capital murder. Villegas had a retrial and the jury returned a guilty verdict, and he was given a life sentence. After spending 18 years in prison, the verdict was thrown out, and Villegas remained out on bond where he got married and started a family.
Can you imagine going through all of these trials for something that you didn't do? These people are very strong. I would not be able to handle it. I wouldn't.
This is the moment that Villegas will find out if he'll go home with his family or be sent back to prison to serve his life sentence.
The state of Texas versus Daniel Villegas. Verdict form B. We, the jury, find the defendant Daniel Villegas not guilty of...
Reportedly, Villegas has filed a lawsuit against the city of El Paso.
Sue their asses!
This is Ricky Jackson. He spent over 39 years in
Come
prison
on, let him
for
out.
a murder
Let
he
him
did
out,
not
baby.
commit. Jackson was arrested at 18 years old, living in Cleveland, Ohio.
framed a black
the main
man
witness
for
in the
nothing.
case was a 12-year-old kid named Eddie Vernon, who in fact didn't see anything. And he said the
you, Eddie.
police
Sorry,
did pressure him into testifying against Jackson, which then later led to his conviction. Nearly 4 decades later, the now 52-year-old Eddie Vernon came forward with the truth, stating that he never saw the murder happen. Charges against Jackson were then dropped.
Does Eddie get charges then after that for lying to law enforcement? Is there a statute of limitations on lying to law enforcement?
And after being wrongfully imprisoned for 39 years, this is the moment that Jackson hears that he is free to go.
Mr. Jackson, you're going to be free to go. Life is filled with small victories, and this is a big one. I wish you good luck. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, look at his look! You can just see the slightest happiness on his face! Oh my god! La 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 la. Okay, sorry. I'm so happy. Oh. You better stop. You're gonna make me cry too. You gonna make me cry too? You gonna make me
Jackson received $1 million in compensation from the state and an additional $2.65 million for lost income.
We'll
this
take it.
is Kirsten Lobato. She served 16 years in prison for a murder she did not commit. At 18 years old, she was charged with the brutal murder of a homeless man in Las Vegas. She was first convicted of first-degree murder.
Somebody that just randomly murders a homeless person on the side of the street has a pattern. 100%. A pattern that makes sense that it would lead up to this behavior. That's a crazy thing to just...
And sentenced to 13 to 45 years. And after spending 16 years behind bars, a new hearing was presented with evidence that confirmed the actual day of the victim's death was when Lobato was 3 hours away with her family, proving that
You check the body. The body's right there. You could check the body. I told you I was over here. Like, they convicted her just because she didn't have an alibi for the time that they got wrong on the murder? Now I gotta suffer for poor police work. Okay.
Lobato has filed a lawsuit against the Las Vegas Police Department, and her compensation claim is ongoing.
So where to now?
Okay, well, we got
Let's go shop.
I want to see more exonerated people. That one made me happy. We're always seeing horrible things. I want to see exonerated people. That was nice.